So warm welcome to all of you guys in my agile coaching sessions. My name is Gajanan and today is the second day of agile coaching session where I'll provide you some sort of interesting information. I think you guys already know this information, but I'm just brushing it up and I'll revise this information in new format for all of you. So let's start the session. Thank you for joining my session. So today's agenda is what is the mindset versus framework? What is the difference between the roles of agile coach, scrum masters and agile team members roles, their roles and responsibilities, their dynamics, and what exactly work in progress criteria, why it is important, and are we able to reduce it. So let's start guys in my session. Before starting the session guys, if you have any query, any question, if it comes in your mind, same time you can ask me to interrupt, because if you wait for question and answer session, maybe that query will fly from your brain. So before that you have to grab it and you have to ask me. I'll answer your all queries and questions guys related to agile. So first, what is mindset versus what is framework? So first we will know what is exactly mindset. So guys, I'm giving you couple of examples here. So first example is I'm a person. I'm working with lot many team members, with lot many teams also. In Bangalore location, we are almost 300 people working under one roof, and under 300 peoples there are lot many teams, they are working in multiple projects also, and I'm working with them as an expert agile coach. Now first example, if I'm approaching with them rudely, so how rudely I'm approaching them, I'm communicating with my team members, I'm forcing them that guys you have to attend my session. If you are not attending my session, I'll complain your managers and I'll provide a bad feedback for all of you. This is a straightforward rude impression guys. Second impression is something political, like I'll ask team members, guys try to join my session, otherwise maybe I'll tell your managers that you guys are not interested in my sessions, and so going forward I'll never provide any sessions to this particular so and so project or so team members. Guys, when somebody approaching with you or your team member in this manner, we called it as a mindset. Every person have their own thinking, their own face, own color, their own mindset, their own soul, and because of this, with this all attitude, every person reacted and this person communicated with you, with your team members, your peers and your seniors. Based on this communication and interaction, we find out this person is good or bad. We are just making a judgment in our mind that this person is cool, this person is very rude, this person is, it's fine, it's okay, or this person is very shy, this person is a comedy person. When I saw this person, automatically my lips started smiling. So this is something which is a color of that particular person, and we called it as a mindset guys. This is a very general information or very general definition about mindset. Now what exactly agile says about the mindset? So I am giving you a very simple example. This is just an example. I was working with one of team members in my previous organization, where the team members have almost more than 15 to 20 years of experience. These guys are very good in their roles and in their working areas, their technologies, and these guys are working very fine. But these guys are working in a waterfall model or a traditional model from last many years. And when I approaches them as a agile coach, first these guys looks like why this person comes in our industry and why this person made us. We are very fine in our day-to-day life, we are working very well, results are going on, why this person interacted and why this person is trying to force us to apply agile. Agile may increase our working areas or stretch our working hours, or maybe add some more work in our day-to-day life. So this is mindset, guys, because these guys are working from long time in a traditional methodology. So these guys never accept the new thing. Change never accepted. And the mindset which are not accepted the change is not a agile mindset. Now organization gives me a challenge that this is a team, this is our super team, these guys are working very well, and you have to interact with these guys and you have to motivate these guys to accept agile, apply agile, being agile, and going forward they have to work in agile. And when I approach, I found that first thing, these guys started avoiding me. If they met me face to face, they speak very less. If they speak, then mostly they speak very rudely, or they trying to push me. Like I have a very less experience in industry. These guys has looks more world than me, and these guys have much experience than me. So this is something they are pushing me back, and I heard everything. Slowly, I started asking them, just forget about Agile, forget about Gajanan. Why don't you guys accept me as a friend? You guys accept me as a friend, and I'll let management know that these guys are very happy in their day-to-day life. So no, not required to apply Agile here. And those guys says it's fine. We will do that. Those guys accepted me. Guys, please can you mute? Okay, I'll mute all. Okay, so those guys accepted me as a friend, but not a true friend. These guys accepted me friend diplomatically, and I started communicated with them, and I asked them what these guys are working, where exactly these guys are working, who is specialized in which area, so what kind of work that person is doing. Slowly, I was become one of them. And then I asked them, guys, did you face any challenges, any roadblockers, or any surprises, which is a last moment surprise, and which breaks your entire work or which breaks your entire confidence? Slowly, these guys motivated, and these guys started speaking with me that sometime management says whatever the work you are doing, this work is not required now, and client says we just do not want it, so scrap it. So this is something create a anger between us, that we are working from so long time on that particular work, and suddenly management comes or client comes and say we do not require this work and you can scrap it, or client provides some sort of new requirement, some sort of change requirement, and because of that our previous work is completely scrapped, or client says that you guys are literally fool because something different we had provided you in a information or in a requirement, and you guys work on entirely different platform. So this happens. Slowly I gather all their points, their frustrations, their weakness, their those areas where these guys have massive anger, and I converted them in an agile way, and I asked them, guys, why don't you try this solution? I provided them all the solutions which comes under agile. Those guys accepted those solutions, those guys applied those solutions, and those guys found a success. Slowly these guys comes to me, and these guys ask me for the solution for the rest of issues also, and then I provide them information that, guys, whichever solution previously I provided you and whichever solution going forward I will provide you, those all solutions comes under agile. It never ever increase your work. It never says stretch your life in working hour. It never says compromise your work and life balance. It always says do your work peacefully and provide something which is very beautiful while you are releasing something from your desk to client environment. And Then these guys started accepting me. These guys started asking, what is agile? Why don't you tell us about the agile? Why don't you conduct us some sort of sessions, maybe 30 minutes, maybe 45 minutes? And after that, after almost 2 months, these guys are ready to provide me 2 to 3 days full day for agile session. These guys provided mails to management that 3 days this team will not work on any sort of technology areas because these guys required the agile training, full-fledged and detailed training. And after that, maybe these guys will provide some sort of good result, some sort of quality result. Management agreed for that, and after that agile journey has started. So this is something, guys, mindset, from traditional mindset to agile mindset, how you are going to move it, it's completely depend upon you how to tackle this situation. Because when you approach somebody as an agile coach, at that time maybe those guys will not accept you, those guys will avoid you. So when these things coming in picture, at that time you have to manage the things, you have to track some ideas, pull them from waterfall model to agile mindset. Now what agile mindset is doing, so if you see on my screen, in agile mindset we all work together, we all work with with each other, we all work in a team manner. Now, mindset versus framework. So what exactly framework is? Frameworks means instruction. Mindset means something, if I'm saying about traditional mindset, maybe I can say it's a kind of bossing, it's a kind of arrogant things, it's a kind of pressurized situation. Somewhere I seen, means I never say that entire traditional mindset is like that. 10% mindset I seen where helpful peoples are also available, management is also ready to help team members are also ready to get a help from management, from client, and client is also ready to help to the vendor. So this is 10% teams are also available in the world, but this is only 10% and we have to convert it from 10% to 100%. Now what is framework? Yesterday I provided a very simple example about driving a car and drive from your destination to your office. So whatever instructions you are following while you are driving, like you have to overtake from left side if you are driving in US or Europe. In India, if you are driving, you have to take overtake from right side. So likewise, so these all are instructions, guys. If you found somewhere the board at the side of road that your speed limit should be 80, then you have to drive on 80 speeds, not more than that. If you drive more than that speeds, then maybe policeman comes and will fine you. So these are instruction. Framework is also same. Framework provide you the instructions how you have to start your work and how you have to approach your work, how technically you have to complete your work. If you have any sort of broke blockers or any breakages, any impediments, anything is stopping your work, then how to tackle these situation, how to get the solutions immediately. If you do not have an immediate solution, then how to find a person who will provide you a guidance solution, a good help, which will pull you from that situation, make you safe, and again provide you a safer and peaceful environment. So this is what framework says, guys. This is a set of instruction, this is a bunch of instruction. I'll provide you more information on this area also when we will meet in our framework session. Now when we are going to framework, guys, agile always says that when you are working with any sort of project, you have to follow some sort of rules and regulations. But these rules and regulations will not pressurize you. These rules and regulations will make your life more and more easy, more and more safe, more and more flexible. where in a happy environment you can reproduce your mind morely, you can reproduce your uh, working culture morely, and you can work very well. So this is what agile says. Now, what is the difference between role of agile coach and scrum master, or role of agile coach, senior coach, and program manager? So we will see what exactly agile coach is doing. So guys, if I'm working as an agile coach, if you remember your school days or your college days, maybe you remember that when you approach to your teachers, or your principals or your professors, at that time your professors first listen what exactly you want to tell them. It is a problem, it is just FYI information, or it is something which is new for them. They are just listen everything very coolly, very calmly, and after listening they ask you a very few questions, and based on that question they provide you the answer which helps you in your day-to-day life, or which may help you in your that particular situation. So this is what also a ability of coach. When you are working as a coach, guys, first rule or maybe first guideline I say, you have to always keep yourself calm. You can just look around you. I'm not saying you can look in agile, you just go through Google, you read massive documents, or giant books, big books, or you have to communicate with with very extended agile peoples or expert peoples. No, just don't do this. Just look at your around, see the nature, how nature is treating with us. Nature always trying to make us safe. Nature always provide us something which is beneficial for us. Just see that and accept it, how nature is providing. This is the first quality which nature gives every agile coach, that when you are approaching your team, any project, or any single team member face to face, first listen, first understand where exactly that person is, where exactly that team is, why that team is in that situation. If the team is happy, doesn't matter, you are happy. But if team is not happy, find out the exact root cause, find out a proper root of their problem, and try to resolve that problem. Don't tell them that I am here to find out the root cause of your problem, just not needed. You just speak with them as a casual basis, you speak with them, you communicate with them, you mingle with them sometime, and slowly you yourself try started identifying where exactly the problem is. And once you caught the problem, just try to resolve that problem. Or second way is, try to provide a solution to team members or your team leaders or squad leaders, that how to tackle this problem and how to solve this problem. Just help them. You are not a king, guys, or you are not a queen, but you guys are king maker or queen maker. Keep this in your mind always, that you are king maker or queen maker. Peoples or world always remember the king or queen, but very few peoples know who is a king maker and who is a queen maker. And you guys are playing that role as an agile coach. Now, this is the first thing. Second thing, you have to update your knowledge. When you are started working in agile, when you know the principles about the agile, when you know the differences of different frameworks, how those frameworks are work, when you know the culture about agile, and when you know how to manage those things, then you have to yourself analyze, and you have to try to add few things in your agile which are fitted and which are beneficial for team members, and where you can apply those all 12 guidelines which agile has already provided. Guys, these are 12 pillars where agile is stand, and you can apply those 12 pillars in your communication when you are communicating with team members. Sometimes this is also happens, guys, the team members very angrily communicate with you, and maybe team members or management directly put the entire blame on you guys, directly or indirectly, diplomatically, politically, or straightforward. I am giving you all the situation, guys. I am not hiding anything here. I am giving you all the situations, diplomatically, politically, pressurizedly, or straightforward. Maybe team members, management, or client will directly put the entire blame on you. It's fine, guys. Just analyze what exactly that blame is, where exactly the problem is. Keep your statement which is uh, near to agile, or which agile says. You just try to find out those rules and regulations and provide that answer to your team members, your colleagues, your management, and your client. Educate them, because if somebody is blaming you, it means that person doesn't have knowledge about agile, agile coach, scrum master, or product owner. Just provide them education, or provide them some sort of information. Now guys, here one more thing which I'll provide you. There are agile trainer and there are agile coaches. Now what is the difference between trainer and coaches? It's a very simple difference, guys. If I am telling you what is 12 principles, what is framework, how the framework is working, this is something some sort of bookish knowledge, or somewhere I had 25 to 30% knowledge where I had implemented those frameworks. So I know how to implement it, and I'm just omitting that knowledge in front of you. That is training, guys. That is not coaching. When you are coaching somebody, at that time you have to provide more and more examples, so that when you are communicated with that person should understand why this situation is there. Why agile says I have to run daily stand up daily basis, I have to run sprint planning once in a sprint, I have to run sprint health check ceremony at least once or twice in entire sprint, I have to follow the 12 guidelines. Why agile has provided these 12 guidelines? So agile coach provide with different examples, with different statics, and that is called agile coach. Now I already provided you about the agile trainer also, guys. So I maybe say that scrum master will be work as an agile trainer, because I'm giving again here a very simple example, guys. I was certified before 3 years in a agile as a scrum master, and from last 3 years I am just omitting my knowledge or omitting my experience which I learned in that particular 2 days where I attended the agile scrum master training. I learned something from the trainer or from the coach, and I'm just trying to implement that entire training in my teams from last 3 years. And if somebody required some sort of information, some sort of queries answers, then I'm just omitting that knowledge. That is the agile trainer, and scrum master can do it. Scrum master have a liability or have a authentication that he or she can provide a training in internal teams where that scrum master is working, or in internal project. But agile coach doesn't have such kind of boundaries. Agile coach can provide the training to anybody, maybe face to face, one on one, maybe in a mob, maybe in a meeting room, even maybe in a stadium also if required. And agile coach has a power that in the stadium, if 1,000 people are sitting there, almost 95% people gain what agile coach is telling them in his coaching. And agile coach has that power or has that mindset that whatever information he want to spread, he or she was spreading that with appropriate reasons, with appropriate examples, so that team members can easily understand it. So this is a basic difference, guys, between agile coach and agile trainer. Now what is scrum master? So there are some roles and responsibilities available with scrum masters. First thing is Scrum Master can provide a training internally in the team members. If team is already running a Scrum, but somehow Scrum is failing or Agile is failing. So Scrum Master is a person who try to find out why Scrum is failing. Is it a mini waterfall run under a Scrum? So is this a case, or are these guys running all the ceremonies with lot many myths? Guys, there are lot many myths also available. I'll provide you some sort of myths here also. Like Scrum Master is a project manager and he can manage everything in Scrum team. This is a myth, guys. Product owner is always a client person or client business analyst, and he only there to provide us the requirement. He is not there to judge what exactly going on in Scrum team, what exactly the quality of Scrum team while releasing the product from Scrum team to production environment. This is again a myth, guys. Third thing is Scrum team is always work based on their priority and their timing. No, guys, this is again a myth. Scrum team works on priority, but those priorities are set up by product owner based on the communication with client and client's priority. If client's priority change, then product backlog priorities will also change. And if product backlog priorities will change, then Scrum team's working priorities will also change, guys. So this happens. So such kind of lot many myths are available in our entire IT world, and people are running Scrum with these kind of myths, and this is the reason Scrum is always failing. So guys, avoid the myth, always try to find out the truth and run your Scrum with that particular truth. Now, few responsibilities of Scrum Master. Scrum Master is a person who always run a neutral role in the entire team. Scrum Master doesn't have power to provide any kind of decision. This is the first thing, guys. Second thing, Scrum Master cannot pressurize anybody in a team to work hard or to work soft. Scrum Master may provide suggestions, but Scrum Master cannot pressurize the team members. Scrum Master is a person who always protect his team or her team from outside influence. I am giving a very simple example. One of my client knows in which area my team is working. Even client knows which person is working in which area of requirement. Now client started directly approaching to my team members, and client teams started forcing or pressurizing my team members that you have to work on this area also, you have to work on that area also, because you are working on ABCD environment or ABCD requirement. Guys, this is outer influence which always make a noise in entire team and break their peaceful life. Scrum Master is there to support them, to protect them. If these things happens, then Scrum Master directly communicate with clients, team members, product owner, and if required, Scrum Master can directly communicate with clients management and our internal management also. Now, what massive power Scrum Master have? So, Scrum Master can dissolve the running sprint anytime. Now, this is in some sort of situation, guys, when Scrum Master can dissolve the sprint. When the requirements are constantly changes and you are not able to perform your work with your team members, at that time Scrum Master took a decision and dissolve the sprint, send a mail to clients management, our management, and clients business team members also, that I am dissolving the sprint because of so and so reason. Till you finalize your requirement, my team will not work on a single requirement. We will sit idle. And after sending this mail to management, this is a hooter, guys, this is a big hooter for management, and management suddenly wake up and come in a action, and management started asking what happens, and then everything will be sorted out by management. Things are stable, and then Scrum Master again started the work. Now Scrum Master is a person who always provide a coaching to product owner also. If product owner is lacking somewhere, if product owner is missing something or a product owner is not available, then Scrum Master have a liability or authentication that he or she may run the role of product owner. He or she may directly communicate with client's team members, client business team members, and get the requirement or communicate with them what exactly we are doing and where exactly we are right now. So it's a progress report kind of thing. So this is something Scrum Master roles and responsibilities, guys. I'll provide you more information in our Scrum areas also while we are working in a framework. Now, so this is how Agile coach, Agile trainer, and Scrum Master working, guys. Now, why is it important to reduce the work in progress? So, giving you a very simple example, guys. I have two teams. My A team is working in a traditional methodology or waterfall methodology. My B team is working in a agile methodology or under agile areas. Now my A team have list of requirement and project manager says you guys have a 50 members right now. You guys have to identify on which area you want to work and you have to start your work. There is no priority. So 50 team members find what exactly the work is there and which is very simplest for me, which I can do early. So those guys provided their name in front of that particular work and started working on that particular requirement. Whether the information uh, whether these requirements are necessary or not, on priority or off priority, by knowing these, by doesn't having the information about this team started working. Now team is started working based on their own priority, not based on client's requirement priority. So by this way this work is going on, guys, and slowly in traditional methodology we found that initially the work started very fast, but slowly I seen that lot many tasks are in progress because of some sort of dependencies, some sort of persons not availability, technology not availability, hardwares are not availability, softwares are not availability, information lacking, or some sort of trainings are not available. So things are going in progress, and these things are in progress from last 7 days, 15 days, 3 weeks, 2 months, half a year. So likewise this is increasing always, and there is no breaker, there is no full stop for this in progress areas. And finally when the release date appear, at that time product manager or project manager got the surprises that out of 100 requirement 60 requirements are still in progress because of lot many issues, n number of issues. Despite of those issues are valid or invalid doesn't matter, but there is a issue, and this is the reason 60% team or 60% work is still in progress. Now we will come to team B. Team B first read all the requirement, meet to product owner and tell them that there are priorities missing, so provide us the priority. Product owner provided the priority. Based on priority, team members started communicating with product owner on a bunch of first priority requirement like extra urgent, urgent, high priority. So these three are on important priority. Middle, minor and trivial priority is later on. So team members started working on these requirements which are on extra urgent priority or on high priority. After the communication with product owner, try to understand what exactly client required from these requirement from team members, and where exactly these requirement fitted in existing product. So product owner provided all the information. Now team members asked their business related, technical related, flow related questions to product owner. If product owner have the answers, product owner provided it. If product owner doesn't have the answers, product owner go back to client, ask the same question to client, get the answers, or set up a meeting between client's business team members and our team members and ask the question face to face and get the answers and get the more information from client side so that team can understand what exactly they have to do. Otherwise, end of the day, client always says we want elephant and you deliver us a buffalo. This situation should not arise. This is the reason this uh, team has invested more time in these areas. Once team get to know, once team got what exactly they have to do, they started their work, and they started their work in a very fast manner. There is no in progress, or if there is in progress, that will also have limitations. Guys, agile always run on a time box basis, on a time box level. Like if there is some sort of breakage, there is some sort of in progress work, there is some sort of blockages, agile says if after 24 hours if you doesn't got any solutions on your blockages, just raise the hooter to product owner and your client that this is the situation, this is a blocker, and still we do not have any solution. 24 hours are already passed, so we are running 24 hours behind the requirement. And then product owner, client management started running and try to find out the solution, because ultimately end of the day they required the requirement in a full-fledged situation. And this way we close the in progress work very easily, very early. Still, if your in progress work pass from one sprint to another sprint, still fine, because at that time maybe the issues are too stronger, like some sort of permissions are required and that permissions only comes from higher management, or some sort of hardware is required which is not available in the market. So this is something which is out of your boundaries, there is no control from your side, and this is the reason those blockages are still there. So these scenarios we can understand, even client can understand, and this work in progress area we can pass from one sprint to another sprint. Otherwise, rest of the working area should be complete in a early stages, and we have to provide a good result to our client. So this is basically work in progress area, guys, and we have to reduce it. This is really very important. And guys, this will happen when you are working in a team manner. Now how to reduce these things? So I'm giving you some sort of steps. So say for example, I'm working with 10 members team. 10 technical peoples are working which are very smart and specialized in their technical areas, and few people stuck somewhere. They found some sort of blockers which are not identified when they are in a planning session, and now they stop their work because they can't move ahead. So first they have to communicate with their peers, with their team members, like this is a way, or this is a work which we are doing from last few days or from last few hours, and we found this is a blocker situation and we do not have any solution for this. So can you guys help us? These guys maybe help them, or these guys will ask them to get the help from technical specialist person, maybe technical architect, business flow master, or agile flow master. So that person move immediately to these areas like architect, flow masters, and tell them the actual situation, tell them what exactly they are facing. These peoples may provide them some sort of solutions. Now here are two situations. Maybe because of that solution they need to do some sort of changes in existing product for which they required permission from client. So immediately scrum master raise the situation to product owner, and product owner approaches to client team members and ask them, we are facing so and so situation where whatever solution we have, if we applied that solution, then we required to make changes in your existing product. Are you ready for that, to accept those changes? If client is ready to accept, follow the changes. If client is not ready, then ask the client what exactly the solution client have to resolve that particular situation and to continue our work. Maybe this time client will provide you a very good situation, guys, or maybe very good solution. And this happens, guys, in our real world. So by this way, we can reduce our work in progress, and with a very limited or negligible work in progress area, we are moving from one sprint to another sprint, from 1 month to another month. So this is how we have to tackle, guys. Okay. So in such situation, maybe to make them talkative, I will start communicating with them apart from agile. Guys, we can communicate with our friends very easily, but we may not communicate that much easily with our super colleagues. Say for example, I am an agile coach, and if suddenly my managing director approaches me, maybe I'll not that much freely communicate with my managing director, because I know this person is a managing director. This person have massive powers. If I spoke something wrong, maybe this person take it otherwisely. So because of this pressure, I may not communicate with that person very easily. Same thing happens with shy peoples also. These peoples are shy not only because of that, but these people thinks that if I communicated with say for example, if I'm a shy and if I want to speak with you, maybe I think that if I speak something wrong, or maybe if I ask some nonsense question to this person, what this person will think about me. That Gajanan is in industry from last several years, and still Gajanan is asking a nonsense questions, how poor he is. So they have that fear. If you grab that fear and if you remove that fear from their mind, these guys started to communicate with you openly. And this is happens when you started communicating with them friendly. Now how to approach it or how to make it very easily? So you can speak with them general on general topics, like what exactly going on in our team members, or what exactly going on in film industry or in politics area or in our world, in our city. So by this way you can start communication with them. You can call them in your tea and coffee break, and ask them some sort of questions, maybe some sort of personal questions, or maybe some sort of different questions, like friendly questions which we guys are asking with each other. What is going on in your in your life right now, or why you are stressed today, you are looking very happy, very cheerful, can you share the reason with me, like that. And by this way, when you are approaching with these guys, slowly these guys started opening up in front of you. And then if you ask these guys what exactly the problem you are facing in your day-to-day life or in your actual situation, maybe these guys will speak with you with the exact reason, provide you the exact reason, and ask you, hey man, I'm literally shy, or I'm a person who are not able to mix up immediately, so can you help me? And then you started helping them. Believe me guys, I faced this situation out of 10 almost with 9 teams. Any other query, any other question? Yeah. Okay, definition of servant leader is a very simple, guys. The definition itself in that servant leader world. What is mean by servant? Servant means somebody who is there to provide us whatever we want. And leader means a person who leading that those things. I am giving you a very simple example. I am a team member, or I am a part of a team, and I am working in my team, and in full 8 days I am busy with my work. Now I face some sort of impediments. This is my job to raise the impediment. I raise the impediment. This is my job to take a follow up for each and every impediments, to communicate with those guys. If required, set up a meeting and communicate with them either face to face or one on one. But because of my busy life or busy day to day schedule, I am not able to do it. So who will do it? This is my job. So who will took my job and do these things for me? So this is somewhere the servant leader comes in a picture, and scrum master is a servant leader. On the behalf of me, scrum master took the responsibility of those impediments. But first thing, scrum master should know that I had raised the impediments and I am stuck in my work, so I'm not able to follow up. Then scrum master started following up for those impediments, find a solution, try to close the impediments as early as possible. If requirements, scrum master fight with the peoples, with the stakeholders, even with the management also, because scrum master have that power, and scrum master resolve it, provide me the solution, full cook solution scrum master provided me. I just need to implement it in my working areas. If required, scrum master provided me the invites where scrum master on the behalf of me raise the invites with concerned person, appropriate person, who will provide me the solution or guidelines, and add that person, add me in his invite, and provide me that channel. This is something called servant leader. This is not a job of scrum master, guys, but scrum master is doing it on the behalf of team members. I hope. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay, so I am giving you the answer of your question, proper answer. First thing, your friend's team is either completely fresher in agile, they doesn't know what exactly agile is. Second thing, maybe they are applied the agile with all the entire myths. That scrum master is a person who is a servant leader. They called it servant leader, but they missed the word leader. They just catch the word servant. So he or she is a servant of us, and on the behalf of us he has to do these all kind of job. No guys, this is wrong, and this is myth. So what scrum master has to do? So first thing, on the behalf of that team, scrum master can raise the invites and everything on an initial level. I'm not saying every time, on an initial level, but slowly, Scrum Master provided them a coaching or training what exactly agile is, what exactly self-motivated, self-boosted team. What is the meaning of self-boosted team? What is the meaning of self-motivated team? Scrum Master has to provide this training, this information to the team members. And after that, slowly, Scrum Master have to provide them their roles and responsibilities. Guys, this is a psychology. This is a human psychology. If I am getting something pre-cooked, I will not try to cook it. Even I will not bother how to cook it, because I got it by in a proper plate. It's cooked very well, and with the flowers and stuffing, it comes to me. So why should I bother? And this is the same thing every human being is doing. They are try to avoid the roles and responsibility. It is the role of scrum master, or this is a job of scrum master, to slowly push their roles and responsibilities on their shoulder. If they are not doing it, scrum master have rights. First, scrum master can communicate with them politely, very coolly. Second, scrum master can communicate with them one on one. Third, if they are not ready, then scrum master can push the role to, or the responsibility to, other peoples who are ready to take those initiative, but at the same time indirectly show the team members that first I am giving this responsibility to some other person. Don't disclose the name. Don't disclose the name. Just tell the team that I am providing this responsibility to one of our team members, but that team member is not liable. That team member is still not grown that much. So I am providing this responsibility to so and so person, and now this person will handle this situation. This is somewhere you are hurting their ego, and then these guys come up with their ego. These guys ask you to provide us the responsibility, and we are also responsible. We will give you the result, and by this way it's resolve your issues. Sometime it's required, guys. Yeah, any other query, any other question, guys? Guys, you can. Yeah, yeah, please, please. Okay, this happens. This happens, guys, when the team is not ready to accept agile, and Scrum Master tried their every fundas, every ways, and finally Scrum Master found the team is not ready to take up. Then Scrum Master says that I'm not ready to take this team, and I'm not ready to work with this team as a Scrum Master. So here first step is to started coaching them, and I'll give you a very uh, different idea, guys. Do not coach them in a meeting room, or do not coach them by slide. Tell them that, guys, we have daily 1 hour where we will play some sort of games. I have more than 500 games, guys, which are written by me. I'll provide you those games also in our game section, so you can play these games with these team members. Why these games are there? So I'm giving you a very simple example, guys. I have a small child, 2 to 3 years child. I'm telling that particular child that eating chocolate is very bad habit, my dear, because it may be make some germs in your teeth, and because of this, maybe your teeth, uh, you may face some problem in future. But my child is not ready because he or she is a child. They are not ready to accept. They like chocolate. They want chocolate. So I play a game with them that how chocolate is bad. If that child eating a chocolate once in a month is fine, but if that child eating a chocolate daily basis and on massive level, how the chocolate is bad for that particular child. So I am playing a game, very simple game, and I'll show that particular child, or maybe I'll show some sort of cartoon films to that child how chocolate is bad. After seeing that film, child believing on that film, and when I am offering a chocolate, at that time child think twice. If I eat the chocolate, my teeth will goes on a bad condition. So child avoiding started avoiding chocolates. Same thing here, guys. When you are playing agile games with your team members, unknowingly you are training them, you are providing them a situation, or you are coaching them why agile is there and how they have to apply the agile. If I am providing some sort of training using slide, maybe these guys will understand 30-40%. But if I play a game with these guys, agile games on a particular situation, if I play a game with team members, maybe team members will understand the situation 80-90%. because they themselves involved in that particular game and they know. Yeah, so you can play the game with them. Any other query from your side? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And yeah, and definitely. And when we will come on that particular topic, how Scrum is running, how product planning is going on, or sprint planning is going on, I'll provide you some sort of funny areas also, which if you apply it, maybe your team will ask you, hey boss, when our sprint will end and when we will conduct our next planning session or our product refinement session. Right now I am working with 25 team members guys, and believe me, my every team is asking me that boss, our sprint is ending within next 2 days, so do you have any surprise planning for us in our retrospective or in our sprint planning or in our sprint health checkup? Because at that time it's a kind of game which I'm playing with them, and those guys enjoyed it. And at the end of game, automatically I got whatever I want. These guys understand why that particular event is there and what these guys have to implement or where these guys required to improve. And this is where we are making them self motivated, self instructive, and self boosted team. I'll provide you this information also guys, because we have 25 sessions, and I'll provide you in each and every session a slowly but effectively a good tricks. Any other question guys? You can write to me questions on my mail IDs also guys. You can write to me questions on YAM also guys. I'll provide you the answers on both the sides. If you want, you can directly communicate with me through Jabber also. I'll provide you the information there also. Yeah. Uh, you can approach me on Jabber between 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. In the evening Indian Standard Time. Apart from that, you can send me a mail anytime, no issue. And in the morning at 10 a.m., first I check my mails and I responded my mails. If I miss the mail, even in the entire day, I check my mail at least 10 to 12 times. So whenever I see your mail, I'll respond you. Just don't worry. Yeah. Any other queries? Any other question, guys? No? Then thank you so much. Yeah, yeah, please, please. At the moment, it's 5 p.m. Exactly. Yeah, thank you. So if there are no question, guys, then maybe I'll stop the session. We will meet tomorrow. There are something interesting for you, for all of you tomorrow. Please join my session. I'll provide you a very good and very curious information tomorrow also. Thank you so much, guys. Have a nice day. Have a nice evening. Thank you. Bye.